Hello teachers and welcome back. This is now our last lesson for the unit and I think you know what that means. It means review. So just a word of support. The review units are always quite intense. There's a lot of stuff going on and it's important for you to help your students understand that they really need to focus more so than in other lessons. It's important for them to be aware that there's a lot going on and that you as a teacher are working really hard to make sure that they are familiar with everything in this particular unit, or certainly all of the target vocabulary and grammar in this particular unit. And the other thing is that it's in the review unit that you realize or you discover how successful you were as the teacher in the previous 5 units. If you were doing a great job in the previous 5 units, your review unit should be a breeze. If it's not, if it's really tough, well, then you've got problems and you're probably going to have to do another review unit. You're going to have to do it again. So make sure that your teaching is always on point, because by the time the review units come around, things get a little bit serious. Okay, so what I'm going to do though, having said that, I'm going to have it as fun as possible for my students. I'm going to say, all right, boys and girls, review unit time. Let's focus, let's have fun, and let's do our best, something like this, okay? And then I'm just going to say, all right, boys and girls, I want you guys to come up and we're going to have a spelling game. And then, of course, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask my students to come up to the front, one each, and they're going to start to spell words. Now, what I'm doing is I'm reviewing all of the key words that I wanted to touch on that we've had in the last 5 units. And in this particular way, we can review without being too obvious about it. Now, in this example, these kids, one kid is writing down 3 words. I have done it this way because I want the weaker kids to write down 3 words. You are free to have one kid write down 1 word. It doesn't matter. But in this particular example, I've done it this way because I want them to have more practice, the weaker kids to have more practice. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my stronger students, and my stronger student is then going to grade this. And I'm going to say, Bob, come over here. And Bob's going to go, okay, good, Gaelic, bracelet, practice, rollerblades, corridor, geography, and geography. Now, in this way, I'm able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm satisfying the weaker students. They can have fun and they can jump up and down. And the stronger students can maybe show off a little bit and see how good they are as future teachers, something like this. Okay, but it's a fun game. This is the way I've done it, and you can do it in your own way too. All right, now once the vocabulary is done, I'm going to then clean up the board, and we're going to move on to the next part, which is a reading. So we're going to go to Spring Hill School. Now, the reason why I'm doing the reading is because readings generally are not so pressured, okay? I'm going to ask the students to take out their books, go to page 16, and then we're going to just read it as a class. I need to get through that content and refresh their memories. However, I'm also then going to ask them questions about it. So, number 1, who plays Gaelic football? And the students will put up their hands. All right, number 2, what do you do in hurling? Number 3, why does Pat like to play the tin whistle? Number 4, okay, when does Teresa practice Irish dancing? And then last one, how is Gaelic football different from European football? Now, teachers, I am sure that you recognize those questions. Those are the same questions that we had in the previous lesson, okay? Basically, the last time that you saw the kids, it's the same questions that you asked. The reason why you're doing that is because it's a review lesson and you need to make sure that they retained, that they kept all of the knowledge that you taught them last time. If they cannot remember, whoa, you need to really follow that up, and maybe they have to read this particular passage again. Maybe they have to do more of it for homework. Maybe they have to rewrite the answers in their notebooks. No need to go further and extensive because, of course, this is a review unit. The next one might be their test. Okay, so once we've done that reading part, I'm then going to ask the students to go to page 9. So the students are going to go flick, page 9. And what we have at page 9, it's our dialogue. And so now I'm going to break the students up into either groups of 2 each, okay, or 1 each. It just depends on how much time you have, and it depends on how quickly you need to process these students, okay? And this was the page, if you remember that correctly. However, do you remember this one? This was what we asked our students to do. We asked them to substitute the words in the passage, in the dialogue, and to come up with these things themselves. Now, the students can use their old partners for this particular one, or they can use new partners, and how fluent they are, how confident they are, how easy they are with this particular passage would give you a good indication of how challenging the next grammar is going to be in the future, okay? So I've started off with reading because it's very easy to cover a lot of content. It allows them to have stimulated memory about the grammar points as well as the content that they're needing to do, needing to cover. And it's just a nice way for them to be brought into the lesson. Okay. In this, like I said, this is the dialogue being practiced then by students. You can give them points for sure and make sure that they're having fun with it. And then, of course, we're over with that. Shoo! We're done with the reading part. All right, teachers, thank you very much. We're now going to move on to part 2 of 3. I will see you in that clip. Take care until next time. Bye-bye.